Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. That is I Have a Need to Know Adam.
What's up, everybody?
And I am Topher, aka Tough Guy, like tough guy. I don't know. I thought of it last second and it worked better in my head.
Mr. Tough Guy.
We are finally out of the month of January. Today is Feb 1, 2026.
Yes, all right.
And, this is episode 152. And we are doing things a tiny bit different today.
Yes, we are.
Why
don't you let us know?
Yeah, we are covering the, I don't even know how to pronounce this. It's the Kelly Cahill Abduction.
There you go. Much easier. Kelly Cahill. Yes, I think it's Umemering.
That sounds right. The Umemering Creek encounter, or the Kelly Cahill, pronounced Cowell or Kale. I'm not exactly sure.
From Australia.
It's a case that took place in Victoria, Australia, in the early 90s. It's a very interesting case. I did a bunch of research on it and I wrote an article, and we're going to go through it. We've got links and all this stuff, everything I could get my hands on, except for her book, which is out of print. I, of course, we'll mention that once we're going through the notes here, but
of course,
anyway, yeah, of course it's out of print. The book was published, I think, in 95 or 96. So it's pretty old at this point. There's a lot of stuff in there that is very reminiscent of other UFO abduction cases, such as Betty and Barney Hill. There's even some Rendlesham Forest type stuff in this. It is a lot of fun, and let's get started.
Yeah, and just so people know, this is Umemering Creek is in South Australia, really South Australia.
Yeah, it's 50 kilometers outside of, can you zoom in there a little bit? Keep
Melbourne.
About 50 kilometers outside Melbourne. And if you really zoom into that map, you can see the road they're on. It's just below where that red mark is. So
oh, you really marked it, huh? This is the actual road.
You got to back up just a little bit. Scooch up. See down to the south. Keep going. Keep going south. That road right there that curves along.
This one?
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So now our audience has a general idea of where this took place, and we can go ahead and get started. So UAP seem to be everywhere these days. You see them posted on social media, on the news, being addressed by government officials around the world, and even from your friends and family. And if you're lucky, like me, you've seen one or two yourself. But it hasn't always been like that.
And me.
And you. That's right. It hasn't always been like that. It used to be the only person that would report UAP sightings was the oddly dressed yokel of a neighbor that you told your kids to stay away from, especially on Halloween. I mean, you guys, you really got to go back. I think most of our listeners are roughly our age, so they remember the 90s, and it wasn't exactly in vogue to talk about UFOs. And even up to like a decade ago, if you started talking about UFOs with some people, they would just kind of roll their eyes and
oh my god,
didn't want to talk about it. I remember bringing it up to a girl I was dating at the time, and she just completely was like, "Oh my god, that's so stupid."
Most people, especially girls.
Well, okay. Anyway, we call them UAPs now, and actually in the article I've got here, I have it written down as unidentified aerial phenomena, and I just now realized that is incorrect. Now they are called unidentified anomalous phenomena, so they keep changing the name. But back then, everyone called them UFOs, and that's what I'm going to keep referring to them in this episode.
I like that.
Unidentified flying objects. Many people saw them, but few would openly talk about what they saw. But thankfully, those days are now gone. Case in point, this podcast, we're able to talk about this now, and we talk about it with our families, and they don't shun us. But today we are talking about an alien abduction case that was once considered Australia's holy grail of alien abduction. The Umemering Creek encounter, or the Kelly Cahill, or Cowell again. This is, you've got the Australian accent mixed in there. It's a hard name to pronounce, but if you hear us say Kelly Cahill or Cowell or whatever, we're talking about the same person. This case was somewhat well known because of the usual drivers of cases like this. We've got missing time, we've got lights in the sky, we've got jackass aliens that have no regard for human life. And of course, we've got the mishandling of the case by UFO researchers.
Of course.
I
Amateurs.
yeah, not really though. This is the professional crowd.
Yeah, it's MUFON, right? I'm sure they're a part of this.
Who? MUFON?
Is it MUFON?
I did not see MUFON mentioned at all.
Probably an Australian one.
It is. It's called. Actually, I think I've got it here in the article. The main group was the PRA, which is Phenomena Research Australia, but also there is a straight up UFO group that was first contacted about this. Kelly Cahill wrote a book called Encounter. We've got it up on the screen now. You can buy it. It's out of print, but you can get a used copy for about 150, 160 bucks. I think it was 160 when I looked at it last. But you can find interviews with her on YouTube. There's many podcasts that have covered this subject. All the information I got for this episode today will have all of the sources listed in the show notes, so you guys can come check it out. Also, you'll be able to find the link to the book as well. So everything we're going to talk about today, I don't think it's perfect because I've got contradicting information from different sources in a couple areas, but I think the gist of the case is correct. So let's talk about our main subject, Kelly. Kelly Cahill, which is a pseudonym. She was a 27-year-old woman from Victoria, Australia, although some of the sources I found list her age at 25. But for sure, she was a devout Pentecostal Christian with firm beliefs in her faith, and that will come up later in the case today. She had 3 children and was married to her now ex-husband, Andrew, which of course also a pseudonym, who was a man with a Muslim background.
Okay, his name. Okay, I was thinking like Andrew, Muslim. All right, he's a pseudonym. That's why.
It's a pseudonym. Okay, and maybe this is inappropriate to say, but she's a good-looking gal.
Yeah, she is very.
And as we've talked about in many other cases, these two did not last and split up shortly.
I want the blondie.
They split. They divorced shortly after this case, though I get the impression that they still are in contact and at least amicable in some sense.
Okay.
So when doing research on subjects such as these, I try to stay as objective as possible. However, reading between the lines seems to point to problems that may have existed between the couple before the abduction. That being said, there are many UFO cases we've studied before in which the experiencers' lives are full of hardship and adversity.
Yeah.
Remember, if you get abducted by aliens and you go public, it's more than likely your life will be ruined.
Absolutely.
It's a bit of a joke, but often it turns out to be true.
Yeah, I don't think anyone who's done an abduction has turned their lives around by coming forward. Maybe Whitley Strieber. I mean,
Whitley Strieber's life wasn't ruined. He definitely had a tough time for a long time, for sure. But he turned it into a career. Betty and Barney Hill, their lives weren't ruined.
No.
But obviously at first, again, they struggled. But Kelly here always considered herself normal. She says she's a 5 out of 10, right down the middle in all aspects.
Interesting.
I compared it to the movie Idiocracy. If anyone's seen that, or if you remember, the two main characters were perfectly average, which is why they were selected. And that's right. That's the example I used.
And they were geniuses in the future when they got there.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's how Kelly considered herself: normal wife, normal mother, so on and so forth. So this is a point of contention about this whole thing, and we'll get into it towards the end of the episode. But most of the information gathered about this case comes from Kelly herself. She wrote a book, did many interviews, was quite vocal about her experience before fading into the background and returning to a normal life as the popularity of the case died down. As we will discuss later, the organization leading the investigation, the Phenomena Research of Australia, or PRA, they seemingly did investigate thoroughly, but frustratingly did not publish or release their findings.
What?
We will get there. We will get there.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to take the event?
So the event on the night of August 7th or 8th. Oh, I like those dates. Again, Okay. 1993 in Victoria, Australia. Kelly and her husband Andrew were driving to a friend's house for a birthday party. They drove in silence down Belgrave Hallam Road in Nar Warren, the general location of which we can see right on this map right here.
And that road, that's the one I was pointing to, is the Belgrave Hallam Road,
which is this one right here.
Yes.
Wow, man! I wonder if people do they have a sign there? They usually do something like that.
I'm sure. I didn't even think to do a. If you if you change the Google Maps to like the actual view, I wonder if there's something there now. I'm sure they've got some sort of memorial.
I was thinking, I'm like, how do I make it into the?
I think you just click that square at the bottom.
Where? This one? This one. Oh yes.
Yeah.
We want not traffic. We want satellite.
Satellite, or you can do you click and you put the little man down there, little blue man, or that's how you used to. I don't know if it's still that way on Google.
Oh yeah, Maps. I remember in the documentary she was pointing here.
Yeah,
she was being interviewed. She was pointing this way.
Yeah,
this was the field. Oh
yes, yeah.
Whoa, I didn't mean to do that. All right, sorry. Let me get back to that. In a paddock field, there it is. Kelly saw a ring of bright orange lights, which were quickly obscured by trees as the road curved. Surprised, she turned to her husband to confirm that he had seen the lights as well, but his silence seemed to confirm that he had not seen the lights. After some prodding of her husband, he shut her down quickly and claimed that if she had seen anything, it was a landing helicopter. The rest of the drive appeared to be non-eventful.
So something that popped up in several of the podcasts and interviews I was listening to was that they were driving there in silence, which gives me the impression that something was not sitting right between them.
Yeah,
that's why I thought that there might have been problems or tension at least between them before any of this happened. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like she's like, "Did you see that? Did you see that?" No, what are you talking about? Those lights, they looked like a UFO or something. I'm like, no,
it's just a helicopter.
Just a helicopter, yeah.
Right. At the party, Andrew joked with their friends about the UFO that Kelly had seen. By Kelly's account, it seemed to be good-natured, and she was able to laugh alongside the other guests. We have to remember the year that this took place. UFO sightings were not something to be taken seriously, and no one normal took them seriously.
Normal in quotes.
Right. I mean, yeah. Eventually, the men and the women of the party split up to do their own separate thing. The women went to bingo before returning and going home for the evening. What were the guys doing?
It was mentioned, but I truly don't remember. It wasn't anything. They might have gone to like a bar or something.
Right. Yeah. That's what I figured.
It was the reason I pointed out bingo is because I wanted to make a joke, because later on they're coming back from a different bingo night. Like,
okay.
There's just nothing to do in the 90s, huh?
Oh man. Kelly and Andrew left sometime late that night. We couldn't find the exact time they left the party to return home, but Kelly mentioned that she had looked at the clock before departing. An important note that comes into play later. The two took the same road home, and this is where things got a little outer-worldly. And here's a quote from Kelly.
Okay, so I cannot do an Aussie accent. I really wish I could.
Don't do it.
But I'm not going to. I'm going to read this as normal as possible. And this is a direct quote from Kelly, so it's a little bit it's not neatly written. Listeners will understand what I mean.
So she said this right, and you transcribed it.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, we were driving back down the road in the same stretch. Both of us, just me and my husband, we both saw this ring. Mind you, hovering in front of us, hovering above the road. It was just something sitting there. I couldn't tell what it was. We were at first far away, but as you got closer to it, it wasn't like the orange light in the field. It was a round shape with some sort of a glass around, or what looked like windows with lights around the bottom. Because it was dark, you really couldn't tell at first. But as we got closer and closer, there was no noise or anything. Even then, my husband was going, "You were right. That's something. That's very strange. And I swear we saw people in there." And just as I said to him, "I swear there's some people in there," it just shot off to the left as fast as it could go. I mean, just completely disappeared. Within a split second, it had gone. We kept driving, and about a kilometer ahead, all of a sudden, there's this really bright light in front of us, and I've got my hand up above my brow to look out the window because it is that bright. I can't see anything. And I said to Andrew, "What are you going to do?" And he said, "I'm just going to keep driving." From there, that's the last we remembered until I knew I was going to see a UFO. I knew because of what we'd seen. I'd seen it twice in one night already, and he'd seen it once. And the adrenaline is pumping, and my heart is pumping. I'm so excited. But then all of a sudden, I'm sitting in the car, and I'm saying to my husband, "What happened?" And he says to me, "I don't know. We must have gone around a corner or something." So they they're driving, and they see this UFO with windows, and it reminds me again of Benny and Marnie Hill, because it was the same thing. They saw this craft with windows with these little aliens inside poking out at them, and it sounds like this was a very similar thing. And what Adam has pulled up right now, it's Kelly's drawing on the left, and we'll talk about the two other drawings on the right later. But it looked like that. It looked like a circular craft with windows.
Wait, sorry, did they say how big this thing was? It was like 30 feet or more, like 100
actually
feet.
It's in a later quote that we will talk about that.
All right.
Yeah. So, and as listeners just heard, and as Kelly discussed, this is a classic case of missing time, right? They're driving up to this UFO, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's gone. We're way down the road, and how did we get here? And of course, Andrew, the husband's like, we must have gone around a corner, because he is not the UFO guy in this family.
No, right.
Kelly and Andrew both saw the craft in bright light, then suddenly woke up further down the road with no recollection of how they'd gotten to that point or what had immediately happened prior. And this part was strange, but it doesn't really ever get addressed. Also strange was the accompanying stench of vomit that permeated the car without any actual vomit. Things continued to get even stranger. As seen from Kelly's quote, Andrew did his best to dismiss the weirdness of their situation by positing that they must have gone around a corner to take them out of view of the lights, a position that Kelly obviously didn't believe. They debated about what happened to them as they drove. Both agreed something odd had happened, but Andrew was not wanting or unable to believe that anything extraordinary had happened. Andrew is an interesting part of the case, but his role is kind of small. He was very against Kelly talking about UFOs. If you go back to the article, I've got a link here with timestamps about Kelly. It's just a short clip, Kelly talking about her husband, Andrew. Should be the 13 minutes, 24-second mark.
Oh, yeah, it's this one here.
3 females had marks and 1 male, but the other 2 didn't.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. I think that's the wrong one. Nope, never mind. Sorry.
Or a few weeks later when you went back to that same place?
My husband, he remembered seeing the craft in the sky, and but whenever I mentioned anything out on the field, he would go absolutely ballistic. He would get really, really angry, and he denied it for a long time until about 2.5 years ago, when he finally came out and said, admitted that, he remembers what went on out in the field, and he has memories of it too, and he's also seen these things at other stages throughout his lifetime before this, which really surprised me after all these years of him denying it. But you have to understand, he comes from a Muslim background, and everything to him was anything to do with UFOs or this was totally demonic. So his idea was not to touch it, not to think about it, not to do anything with it.
He was trying to deny this whole event occurred.
Yeah, now, forget it and it'll go away.
Yeah, which obviously, as you know, doesn't work. Now, what about your background? What is?
Yeah, we can.
He probably thought they were jinn.
You never know.
Yeah.
Of course, this whole story is centered on Kelly. Not a whole lot. I'm sure there's more information in the book about Andrew, but just from what I researched or was able to find, Andrew is not a huge character in the story. So obviously Kelly there talked about his Muslim background, and at the time, again, you don't mention you saw a UFO and aliens to your friends and family, because they'll put you in the nut house at the time.
Right, or think you're possessed or something like that.
Yeah,
depending on who you're talking to.
Yes, and that seems to be the main factor as to why Kelly and Andrew were at odds when Kelly came out to tell the world what happened.
Right.
Though in that clip, she does point out that a couple years before that interview and after this event had happened, Andrew did say, "Yeah, I remember seeing that stuff too," but it took him a long time to come to terms with it, is what it sounds like. So, regardless of what each pair believed happened, they continued on their way home after waking up from the missing time. But in the middle of the road, Kelly saw a tall, hooded, dark silhouette that she believed was not human. And it must have scared Andrew too, because it wasn't, in a situation like that, in any kind of normal settings, you might slow down and see if a person's okay, if they need help or anything. But they sped off and got home as fast as they could. However, once they got home, they discovered that they'd lost about an hour and a half of time.
Wow.
But Kelly and Andrew kept arguing about this. Andrew was saying, "Nah, we probably just left the party later." And Kelly was adamant, "No, I looked at the clock when we left. I know what time it was. We were missing an hour and a half of time."
Crazy.
But instead of continuing to argue, she goes, "Fine, whatever. I'm getting ready for bed." So she goes to the bathroom and she's getting undressed, and she found a triangular mark just under her belly button. There's a picture of it right there. It's about 1 centimeter on each side, equilateral triangle. And not only did she find this mark, but she was heavily bleeding, even though it was not her time of the month. And again, how many alien abduction stories have we read and researched in which the aliens are implanting, or they're taking eggs or sperm or implanting stuff in the uterus? I mean, it's crazy stuff. I mean, it goes along with everything that we've talked about. Also, how many times I had to hear the word navel spoken over and over again.
Right. I mean, there's definitely a hybridization program going on, or some kind of extraction that they're using our DNA for something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Here's how Kelly described what was going on. The first thing I noticed was that I was bleeding, and it wasn't my time. The blood was bright red and unusually profuse. It had soaked through my jeans. I have a mark below my navel. It's faded quite a bit, but it was very pronounced at first. It's an equilateral triangle measuring 1 centimeter on each side and quite unnatural. It looked like a burn when it first appeared, and the skin had also been punctured.
Wow.
Do you want to take it from here? Though the
triangular wound had fully healed after about 5 months, this is just the tip of the iceberg for Kelly. The bleeding and pain ended up becoming so bad that Andrew soon took her to the doctors. The doctors, of course, could not figure out what was ailing her, eventually giving her antibiotics and claiming that she had an unknown infection on her uterus. To add to this, both Kelly and Andrew would suffer from migraines and debilitating muscle fatigue, to the point where some days it became a struggle to just get out of bed in the morning. To sum it up, a lot of health issues were affecting the couple quite badly. Kelly made various trips to the doctor's office to treat the pain she was feeling, and each time the doctors could not find reasons for her health issues. She did not mention the abduction experience that had happened to her in order to save herself from embarrassment. Yeah, he would probably send her to the loony bin if she said anything. Or would say, is she covering up some abuse being done by Andrew?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
You never know what doctors jump to conclusions, right?
Yeah, the migraines thing stands out too, because she did mention, I didn't put it in the article, but she mentions in one of the interviews that they were doing CAT scan after CAT scan on her, and they couldn't find anything wrong, and these were really bad migraines apparently.
All right, so it was during this time that Kelly began to experience small snippets of what had happened during that night that the couple could not recall, including conversing with the aliens while being on their ship. However, none of these memories were concrete enough to be considered outstanding. Then, one night, as the couple were returning from bingo, there we go, down the same road they had driven down the night of the party, it all came crashing back. And here's Kelly explaining in her own words. On the way home from bingo one night, we went along the same road, and as we passed a certain spot, I just got this incredible feeling of terror go through me. I mean, absolute terror. All of a sudden, I just started remembering. And by the next morning, I'd remembered just about everything that had happened. Except, I admit, there's still some missing time that I can't place. From a later quote describing what had happened. What we'd actually done is driven into the light, but the road curved, and the light we had thought was in front of us was actually to our right-hand side. It was in the field, and it was massive, like the size of a house, or perhaps close to 50 meters. So that's just the light. 50 meters is pretty big. So it was very big. Why I knew it was very big was because we could have driven for 5 minutes. The road sort of wound around this part. You could have driven for 5 minutes and not had it out of your sight the whole time. Wow. Andrew stopped the car and the pair got out to get a better view of whatever the hell was in the field. In this article, and we saw that they drew the crafts, not just Kelly, but also I think these were also witnesses, right?
Yeah, we're just about to get there.
So those are the drawings. Kelly noticed that another car behind them had stopped as 3 people stood outside the vehicle also to get a better view of the hovering object. Once her gaze returned to the UFO, a large figure materialized directly underneath. Instead of your classic basketball challenged gray,
As in short.
Okay. Okay. Very
basketball,
nice of you.
Basketball challenge. Short.
Okay. Yeah. This humanoid figure appeared to be nearly 7 feet tall, really, with the same teardrop-shaped head and large eyes. The eyes on this figure seemed to glow red, which she compared to glowing coals of a fire or the red glow of a stoplight. And yeah, I mean, this is what. Where are they? I mean, they look like this.
Yeah,
and I have a clip also where she's on a computer and someone's helping her draw them.
Yeah.
Scary,
cool,
dude.
There's another photo I've got linked someplace in here where you have a close up of the face. I mean, it's not really much to look at. It's big teardrop shaped head and big eyes.
So this is a quote from her from an interview. She says, "All of a sudden, I started screaming to my husband." Now, this has really got me baffled because of the fact that a human being doesn't just know this. So I don't know how I came out with this, but I just started saying they've got no souls. And then I started screaming, they've got no souls. Then all of a sudden, there were heaps of them in the field, not just one, a whole heap of them. And they started coming towards us faster than a man could run. And they were gliding off the ground. There's that gliding again.
Mm-hmm.
They got halfway across the field and then they split up. Some of them went towards the other people, 2 or 3 maybe, and some of them came towards us. I was hysterically terrified. I have never felt terror like that. Not even in my worst nightmares had I experienced terror like this. The next thing I know, I felt this oomph right in my stomach, right across here, like I was winded. But I was thrown back and I was back on the ground. I sat up with my head in between my knees. Here, I'm trying to stay conscious. I'm trying, but I can't see. And then it went all black. Did you want to play that clip?
Yes, I do. But yeah, really quick. I think it's going to come up in this clip we're about to play, but I think she says there's about 7 or 8. In case anyone was wondering what a heap meant, I think if I remember correctly, she said there's about 7 or 8. And yeah, they attacked her. They ran up and punched her in the stomach.
It's right. Or it was the light too. She said that she felt right that winded her, or did they do something when they came close to her?
If I remember correctly, they punched her in the stomach. Let's play if you play from.
That could be the scar she got. Maybe there were. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, we'll start.
I think I need to make clear is that the reason why this encounter is actually considered to be a little bit out of the ordinary is the fact that it actually involved multiple witnesses. In fact, 3 separate parties of witnesses in 3 separate cars, 6 people in all. And the subsequent investigation recovered a lot of ground traces, including marks on the field and physical marks on the bodies of 4 of the people involved, including myself. So what we have, I guess, is a case that's very unusual and not often encountered. But
yes, you do have extraordinary evidence, which I would love to go into a little bit later in the show to fill our audience in about. Let's start. When did this close encounter begin? What was the year?
The 8th of August, 1993. My husband and I were driving home from a friend's house in the Dandenong Mountains, which is probably about 50 kilometres out of Melbourne. Mm-hmm. And I guess we saw at about twice the height of the treetops from several hundred metres away, something that looked like at first like a blimp. But as we drove closer to it, it looked like a circle of round orange lights. Except in those lights, there appeared to be figures standing in the shadows.
Inside,
behind the orange lights, you could see silhouettes of tall, dark figures. And I had enough time to say to my husband, look at the people in the windows, when it shot off to the left of us, and in a couple of seconds, it was totally gone. but that was only the start of it, because we continued driving down the road, and about 2 kilometres later, we ran into what I guess you could call a wall or a screen of light. It seemed that way to me anyway. I actually had to put my hand up to my brow in order to look through the window at the windscreen, and I still couldn't see a thing. From there on, we actually rounded a corner, and what was sitting in the field on the side of the road was a huge craft, probably the size of a 2 to 3 story building and the length of an Olympic swimming pool. So it wasn't something that was really easy to miss. And we pulled the car over, but we weren't the only people that did. 100 metres behind us, a bank manager, his wife and their friend, who's a registered nurse, pulled over, and another 25 to 35 metres behind them, David, a government law department employee, on his way home, actually pulled over as well.
Now, you weren't traveling on the road with these people. You just noticed when you got out.
Didn't know these people at all. Yeah.
All right.
So basically, we stopped the car, got out, crossed the road. I saw a whole heap of, well, actually, at first it seemed to be one figure in front of the craft, and then a whole heap of them. I felt at the same time this energy or frequency go through my body, and it's quite difficult to explain it because there really isn't a parallel or comparison, but I think the only way that I might be able to relate it is it felt like a low-level frequency coming in waves through my body, yet it was actually so dense that I could physically feel it. And it literally terrified the living daylights out of me. I mean, when I got out of the car, I was exhilarated, you know. I wasn't frightened when I got out of the car. All I could think is, this is absolutely amazing, and we're seeing something that most people wouldn't get the chance to see in a million lifetimes. And all of a sudden, that euphoria changed to absolute horror. And I really, I guess, lost the plot. I really lost control. I was so freaked out, I started screaming, and
was this physically uncomfortable to feel that wave coming through you?
It was almost like something was interfering with the way that my mind worked. It was like I couldn't think straight. It was like I was fighting to be able to think properly at all, and all I could feel was this raw emotional terror. It really was like a living nightmare. And
oh goodness.
Then these beings or figures came across the field. They split up, and at the same time as I was yelling out, their eyes appeared to light up a bright red colour. I don't know whether that's infrared or what it was. But, of course, that totally freaked me out. So the screaming just got worse. They came across the field, split up into 2 groups. Some came towards us, some came towards the second party of people down the road. I felt this blow to my solar plexus, and I landed flat on my back in the grass.
Oh, my. So you got knocked over forcefully by something that didn't touch you that you saw, but it was something that...
It was like, almost like an electric charge of some sort. It wasn't like a thump. It was like I'd received an electric shock straight in the solar plexus.
Like a shock, huh?
Yeah.
And were you knocked off your feet?
Yeah, literally off my feet and flat on my back on the ground. And it knocked the wind out of me. I couldn't breathe. And I really, really struggled to sit up. I kept thinking I was going to die if I didn't sit up. And when I sat up, I was violently nauseous, as well as struggling to get a bit of air into my lungs. And I couldn't see a thing in front of my eyes. And that's how I remained for the little bit that I remember sitting in the grass. I was totally blind. I couldn't remember.
Oh, how terrifying.
Yeah, it was actually. It was very terrifying. I think I really was hysterical, and it's almost a little bit embarrassing to think about how hysterical I was then. But I think it's not until you're put in a situation that's totally out of your control do you.
Absolutely, and you're being assaulted, knocked over, you're losing your vision, and and these red-eyed, terrifying foreign beings are coming towards you. That's very incredible. Anyway,
the last thing I remember was a hand being placed on my shoulder, and I went absolutely ballistic, and the next thing I can remember was being back in the car.
You felt something touching you
Yeah.
without, so that was while you were still lying on the ground. You
No,
couldn't
I was
see.
actually sitting up in the grass with my knees apart. So I was actually in a sitting position. But
And the last thing
before I was touched on the shoulder, I heard this male voice say, "Well, someone do something about her." I know it sounds ridiculous.
Interesting. Do something about
someone
her.
do something about her. Exactly.
And you think it was one of those beings
Yeah,
that was.
yeah.
Did you
Well, I couldn't.
Yeah, someone shut her up. She's being hysterical.
Yeah.
She won't stop screaming. Man,
Yeah.
that is terrifying. Just, it must be very hard to stay calm in a situation like that because you don't know if you're going to die or
Definitely.
not, right?
Definitely.
And if these beings are benevolent or that's it, it's your last. And probably that's what's going through her mind. That's it. I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but listening to that back, it does sound like she was hit by some sort of
Like a directed energy weapon or something. She said
something like that. Yeah.
And then with all these with the directed energy weapons now in the news, and we got it from somewhere, right?
Mhm.
Department of
Yeah,
War now
exactly.
is really focusing on that, and then we have the whole thing in Venezuela, or at least the rumors allegedly we used these kind of weapons on people. So man, that's okay. And now this is she doesn't go into what she remembered yet, right? This is just the initial.
No, this includes, because if you remember, all she remembered was they saw the bright light in the field, then all of a sudden they were down the road a little ways. So this is after she recalled what had happened, after they saw the light in the field and stopping the car and stuff. She didn't remember that at first. This came later.
Got it. Okay. So after the event, Kelly repeatedly was plagued by horrible night terrors. During these night terrors, the creatures from the paddock stood in her room, now wearing hoods, and continued to do whatever it is aliens do to us. And here's a quote from that. And these dreams seemed very physical. In these moments, I know I'm dreaming, and I've got to wake up out of them. But in this particular one, I felt as if my legs were being pulled off the bed, and it was like I was paralyzed from the waist down. And my legs were being pulled over to the side, yet I could almost use the top of my body. Then I'm grabbing a pillow, trying to hit my husband to wake him up, and I'm fighting this. I'm not going to let this thing drag me off the bed by my legs. Then I woke up and saw it there standing again. It didn't scare quite as much this time. I was still terrified, but just not as much fear, because each time it scared me, it was the same power like I felt out in the field that night. So
Yeah,
it is a kind of paralysis, right?
And I mean, what I found interesting is she talks about that hum, which nowadays everyone talks about it, but this was like earliest I think I've heard of this going on, really. The hum, and she said it was affecting her brain, her thought process. And it gets even more interesting in just a little bit here. We'll talk about the experience she had before all of this started and how it probably is related to what had happened to her in the field.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this hum just induces some type of paralysis. Because you can do binaural beats, right? Just by listening to different sounds on headphones, and you could induce a certain frequency. So maybe that's what their technology is doing.
But it's interesting that she could, she felt that energy, but both times, in the field and at night when this kind of stuff was happening to her.
Yeah, crazy.
That quote is just from one of the times, one of the night terrors she had, but she was having these kind of things continuously. Whatever had happened to Kelly seemingly wasn't quite over yet, and it's hard not to let my imagination get away from me here. Were they trying to collect some specimen they left in her? Were they trying to do some last-second repairs on her uterus? Were they missing the key to their ship and just checking the last place they suspected it would be? Us lowly humans will never know exactly what their intentions are, but I won't cross out the obvious. It's definitely possible that these are simply nothing more than nightmares created out of the trauma that Kelly experienced. Yeah, it's possible that all of this, she was being attacked in her sleep, at her home, or she had some really serious trauma that was coming, drifting out of her subconscious.
Yeah, it could be exactly PTSD. I mean, it happens.
Yeah,
even in normal, like people that go to war, they have night terrors about it. So yeah, it could be that.
Yeah. So early on, I talked about her devotion to her religion as a Pentecostal Christian. Something that I don't think made it into my writings here. Kelly this caused her to lose her faith completely. She did not.
Oh,
She did not lose her faith in God. Just
okay.
she lost her belief in her
Relig-
faith because,
Uh-huh.
in her words, she said faith was not equipped to help her deal with what she had dealt with. She had seen believed there was some truth of the universe revealed to her that faith just couldn't, sit alongside with in her mind.
Or answer. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as Kelly was quoted above, she became convinced and terrified that the creatures have no soul. That, in and of itself, was a religious thing, right? But there's another religious portion to this story that took place a few weeks before the incident.
Oh.
One night, while Kelly was in her room praying for guidance, she had what she considered at the time, anyway, a highly religious and spiritual experience. Here's Kelly. One night, I was in the room praying my heart out to God for some indication that he really cared about me and truly accepted me. I was doing this hour after hour, and then I said a particular thing. Why can't you be closer to me? I want you here. I want your pure presence. As soon as I said this, an incredible thing happened. I suddenly felt a breathtaking, overwhelming presence in the room. A surge of energy washed over me, which caused my heart to race, my skin to flush, and my hair to stand on end. I felt a tingling sensation all over my body. That might not make it seem like much, but my heart was pounding so hard that I was on the verge of blacking out. And I stayed like that for 15 minutes solid. I was unable to move or speak or get up. I was afraid that I would have a heart attack if I did move. During that 15 minutes, it seemed to me that something was being poured into my head like a high-speed data transmission. I couldn't hear it, or at least I couldn't catch what was being transmitted, but there was no denying that it was going on. And I stayed there in this strange, altered state until it was finished. When it finally left me, I had the clear idea that my prayer had been answered by God by showing me a small taste of his power. I couldn't handle it. It seemed that a point was being made. If I couldn't take even that little demonstration, then how could I possibly handle his full presence? And I got the message. After that realization, about a minute or so later, I found I could get up. So I stood, but my whole system was in shock. My entire body had been seriously affected. And the nearest thing I could think of to describe it, it is the shock of childbirth.
Whoa.
My knees were like jelly, and all the color had been drained from my face. I was experiencing the symptoms of real physical shock, and when I finally looked at the mirror, I almost didn't recognize myself. The obvious question is why I connect this to UFOs if at the time I was sure that the event was related to God. The answer lies mainly in the presence of the energy I felt going through my body. It was a very similar energy that I experienced during the encounter, except that my interpretation of it was totally different. Great insight from Kelly.
And that happens a lot. Like these events do happen when people are going through trauma, and she was apparently asking for something like this, right?
Yeah.
So crazy that it made her dismiss her religion, but not God, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was I mean, it's great insight from her, but once again, she felt the energy of the aliens, or the event, and she thinks back to her religious experience, goes, whoa, those energies feel almost identical. Now I don't think it's, a thing with God. It's somehow related to the UFO or the aliens.
Yeah, I mean that brings in, there's a lot, in the lore of abductions or of aliens, of that they're in the afterlife as well. That they, for some reason, they're in that realm as well.
Yeah, really, really cool stuff from Kelly. At the time, and as a very religious woman, Kelly took this as a sign from God. We just talked about this. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I ask here, did the state of her mind leave her open to an outside entity flagging her for pickup? It's just alien stuff, man. We don't really know.
I mean, I'm sure they probably have different sensors. You know how we have infrared sensors and radios and all that. Maybe they have sensors for consciousness that does connect to the divine. They might get alerted to it, that this person, for some reason, that people that are able to connect to the divine in some sense, they are interested in.
Yeah.
Right. Or that's
Exactly.
their mission. I don't know. Maybe someone's
Yeah.
asking for something. God says, go give them an experience, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. We don't know. But we talked a lot last week about perception and interpretation.
Yes.
We talked about, for instance, when the ancient people of ancient cultures, they'd compare a flying saucer to a glowing chariot or whatever.
Yes.
It's your life experiences allow you to interpret things in different ways. And
and whatever worldview you have, or even words that you can use at the time, or concepts, that's what you'll use, even though that might not be exactly what it is that you're witnessing.
Mhm.
Right.
And I mentioned Rendlesham Forest earlier. For those of you who don't know or don't remember when we talked about it, John Peniston,
Mhm.
he he just in his mind he kept seeing ones and zeros, and he
Yeah.
had to get it. He had to write it all out. And it was like decades later, not decades. It was years later. Finally, when someone looked at it and go, "Hey, this is
ASCII
binary code."
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the UFO had sent this transmission into his brain, and Kelly, it seems like she had the same thing, although I couldn't find any
Numbers or some
or
messages.
any like underlying message that was hidden in there.
You know what's crazy about the Rendlesham Forest? That even a filmmaker that went later on, years later, to the area, said he got the same message, and he didn't know about the message, and it corroborates it. He has,
Really?
so yes, just from being in that area.
I did not know
Um,
that. That's really cool.
But if you remember, the message was about the future, right? It was
Yes.
humans in the future. I don't know, 2800 or something like that, or was it even 8000? Something crazy.
It was weird. And there's a lot of stuff. There was geographical points, they were
Yes.
and they talked
Right.
about High Brazil, which is a mythical island off the coast of Ireland, I believe.
Right. Yeah. So
Lots
weird.
of cool stuff in there. So let's dive
Yeah.
into the investigation.
All right. You want me to take this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, the investigation. The weeks and months following the Umemmering Creek encounter were harrowing for Kelly. As she questioned what had happened to her and her husband, Andrew was not quite so gung-ho about it, as we've seen. In fact, Andrew would get very angry anytime Kelly would bring up the event, to the point where Kelly began seeking support from the outside. Yeah, good job, Andrew. Her research and desire for answers eventually led her to Bill Chalker. Now, Bill Chalker is a Sydney-based UFO researcher of the UFO Research Center. Bill also looped in the PRA, which is the Phenomena Research Australia, a paranormal investigations group. While her case was being studied and investigated, Kelly was encouraged to document everything she could, from a diary of her memories to drawings of what she saw. This eventually would lead to the publication of her book, Encounter, and the basis of much of what we have read above. Kelly would go on to talk shows and do interviews, and by 1996, she was a prominent figure in the UFO circuit. Her story was also printed in newspapers and magazines alike, each interview providing more and more details, hinting at a bombshell report to be released by the PRA. However, it is important to note that before this, Kelly was not a member of the UFO community, only having a passing interest in UFOs. And by 1998, Kelly faded back from the public eye as the release of the report was continuously pushed back. So who are these PRA guys? Maybe our listeners from Australia can let us know. But I mean, are they involved the government in any way?
I didn't look too deep into PRA. I know they got a lot of flack for this case. I truly don't even know if they're still around. Bill Chalker, I believe he's still around, and he has called this like one of the biggest dropped or missed opportunities in UFO research.
Too bad.
Yeah, there's some speculation as to what happened. We'll talk about it in a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, why don't you keep going?
All right, so by 1998, Kelly faded from the public eye as the release of the report was continuously pushed back. According to her, the investigation of her abduction took a whopping 18 months. And so this video, you said by 1750, it's the same video, right?
It's the same video, yeah. And it's just about a minute long. She just briefly talks about what kind of research they did.
Okay.
There was aerial surveys, infrared photography from the air. The magnetic readings were taken by a portable magnetometer $250,000 worth of equipment and only one of two in Australia.
Wow.
So they basically went all the way, and I've seen photographs of several acres of the field cordoned off into 1 metre blocks with pegs and ribbon, and samples were taken from every single block.
Wow.
And
Goodness.
several times actually, and sent to two separate individual analysts. But the ground traces included a triangular mark out on the field that was first thought to be burns, but ended up being the chemical pyrene, which is a carcinogenic cancer-causing agent. But it does come naturally in small quantities in areas such as coal lodes, but geologically it shouldn't have been in this particular position, and certainly not in a triangular formation.
How large was the triangle, formation?
The triangle was only it was an equilateral triangle again, but the marks were only 20 feet apart. However, there was another very large magnetic anomaly in the shape of a semicircle. And actually, if I show you the picture of the craft we all drew, this is the original craft that I actually.
I think you can
let's hold
pause
it
it
up
now.
for the camera, and we'll let them.
Is this Half-Life they have in the background?
yeah. There's a bunch of different weird videos in the background of that. I think, like I was telling you before the show, it's not a great video. It's a good video because there's a lot of good content, but yeah, they put the actual interview part in a tiny corner of the screen, and I think
so they don't get flagged.
Trying to avoid getting it taken down.
So that's crazy, man. So I mean, so that study included studying the field that the craft had been in, poring over her own documentation and interviewing other witnesses. Kelly had spotted another. We have to remember that Kelly spotted another car with 3 passengers that also got out to examine the craft. PRA was able to track those witnesses down by placing an ad in a local paper, asking if anyone in the area had seen anything odd in the skies that night. And not only did PRA find those 3 witnesses, they had also found a banker who had been on the road that night as well, a lone banker, right?
Mm-hmm.
The PRA interviewed the subjects separately and unknowingly to Kelly at the time. Perfect. Finding that everyone who witnessed the craft were able to draw similar pictures of the UFO and the aliens they had seen. So here we go. Now we have 6 separate witnesses to the same abduction event, a very rare occurrence, and it is. So it's 3 different cars.
Yep.
Right. And they interviewed them separately, and each one of them, without Kelly knowing, and each one of them drew the same UFOs and same aliens. Mm-hmm. All of the witnesses corroborated each other's stories without being influenced by communication within the group. Now, the 6 witnesses' genders were split evenly. There were 3 women in total and 3 men. And PRA found something else very strange. All 3 of the women had identical triangular marks below their belly buttons or navels, as was common parlance at the time. Yeah, your navel. As did one of the men. It is really one of the men too. One of the men. One. It is unknown as why only one of the men would receive the triangular puncture wound. Maybe the aliens aren't great at understanding male parts versus female parts. That is definitely very strange. Maybe, I can't think of something. I mean, maybe the other guy wasn't worth grabbing semen from.
I just think they go, 6 humans, and then they dig into the 3 chicks, and they're like, okay, uterus. They try the 4th one, go, what? No uterus here.
That's hilarious. Yeah, this looks similar. Don't touch him.
Yeah.
Though the other witnesses had corroborated stories with Kelly, several of them had separated memories to fill in some of Kelly's blanks as well. For example, one of the women claimed that she had been strapped on a table and examined, showing the ligature marks around her legs. The PRA also found triangular marks in the field, which we saw, not dissimilar to the Rendlesham Forest incident findings. They used things like infrared imaging, aerial photography, and even magnetic readings to study the paddock. According to Kelly, they found minerals in the soil that could only be created from radiation and should not have been there. With all of this, the PRA had a 300-page report to publish, ready to blow the pants off the waiting public, but it was never released. Supposedly, several of the witnesses recanted parts of their story, not wanting to reveal private details. And again, according to Kelly, the 300-page report was whittled down to only 100 pages and not nearly thorough enough to provide any insight as to what happened?
So that's the rub, right? Everything we've talked about, including what the PRA found, comes from one source. It comes from Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it very difficult to verify, and hence why this case kind of faded into obscurity, right? Because you've got this supposed 300-page report, you've got all these other witnesses, all this other stuff, and then when you look at the source of all of this stuff, 300-page report, 6 witnesses, it all comes from Kelly, unfortunately. Because
what about the PRA guy? Has he come on the record for anything, or
they didn't release any of their findings? That's all I could find.
bastards?
Yeah, I mean, so what the hell? This is the conclusion I've got here, and we will continue talking about it. What the hell, you may be asking? Unfortunately, anyone who studies UFOs, abductions, and the weirdnesses of the universe knows this all too well. Even the best of UFO legends end with a question mark. And as for many people like myself, the research will never end. The conclusion will never be satisfying. And I've made this joke before. It won't be the end until I have a UFO parked in my garage and I'm having a beer with ET from Zeta Reticuli,
You're almost there.
casually conversing about the secrets of the universe. The truth of the matter is, without the release of the official report from the PRA, we'll never know what they found, and Kelly's testimony comes into question. After all, almost everything written above is from Kelly herself, including the testimony of the other witnesses, if they even existed at all.
Oh, you're kidding me. So even this testimony, what about the drawings of the other witnesses? What, it's her who did it?
Could be. I don't think it is, but
Yeah.
she comes forward and says, here's the drawings from the other witnesses. It's just her saying that.
Oh, okay.
She supposedly got this information while working, side by side with the PRA, but
Yeah.
again, it's a one source case, right?
So they released 100-page, like the 300 became 100, right?
They didn't release
what she
squat.
said. Oh, because we said the PRA had a 300-page report to publish. Where to go? Oh yeah, according to Kelly, the 300-page report was whittled down to only 100 pages and not nearly thorough enough. So do we have
No.
Weird.
We got squat, man. That's the problem with this case.
Kelly Cahill, PRA.
So I'm not questioning Kelly's character or calling her a liar or anything like that. I'm a conspiracy guy, UFO nut, and love the strange and unexplained. Reading her testimony, snippets of her book, and listening to her talk, I don't get the impression she's lying. But trying to look objectively, she does have reasons to lie. A young mother of 3 with a possibly struggling marriage looking for attention is not far-fetched, but again, I want to believe. It's like the old Russian proverb, trust but verify. And when most of the information comes from a single source, it makes it damn near impossible to verify. Now, as to why the PRA didn't release their claims, I can only hazard a guess. UFO research groups are notorious for their jealousy of each other, often doing their best to sabotage others by hiding their findings. After all, UFO research is conducted by man, and man is quite fallible. I'm not sure I buy the fact that a 300-page report had to be cut down to a third of its original length because of the witnesses trying to hide their identities. UFO researchers publish their findings all the time without compromising the identities of the witnesses. Also, it's possible that the PRA dropped the case when they found that Kelly made it up to make a quick buck. Without them releasing their findings, we just won't ever know. No matter what, though, the Kelly Cahill abduction got mentioned on the X-Files, so it has that going for it.
Did it really?
It did, yeah. So is this one of the biggest alien abduction cases in UFO history? I don't know. That's up for you, dear listener, to decide. All of the stuff I got research from is going to be linked in the show notes. So check it out for yourself and see what you guys can find. But it looks like you did find something here.
Yeah, this is on the Black Vault. And, he's known for FOIA. He submits FOIA requests to the government. So this is on his website. It was a case file. It says update December 6th, 2002.
On the Cahill case, PRA and openness. It should be noted that the above comment in the 94 IUR report was prepared on the assumption that the PRA comprehensive report on the affair was about to be released. Despite nearly a decade passing, John Ash, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he was the head of the PRA. John Aschedel and
yeah.
PRA have not released the report other than a few fragments of information. As the researcher responsible for passing Kelly Cahill onto PRA in the first place, principally because I'm New South Wales
Yeah.
based and the incident occurred in Victoria, I have to say now that decision was, in hindsight, a mistake. So this is the guy we mentioned in the article, Bill
Chalk or something. Chalk.
What was it? Hold on a sec. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Bill Chalker.
That's
I'm assuming that's him talking because he was the one that sent Kelly to the PRA.
Yeah.
Where was I?
My comment.
Okay. My comment to the 94 report, John Shuttle and the PRA, was entirely based on conversations with a shuttle and discussions with Kelly Cahill at the time, 93, 94, and in retrospect should have been qualified more accurately. While a shuttle and PRA may well have been thorough in their investigation, in reality, there's no way to absolutely verify this, which is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because of their unwillingness to release the report and data on the case, PRA have offered some seemingly unusual and convoluted explanations for this lack of sharing.
Okay.
I have long encouraged openness in sharing my UFO research. My website is in part an expression of my position on this matter. My attempts to encourage PRA in this direction, from my perspective, have been very disappointing and have instead led me to not to refer cases to John Shuttle and PRA. Unless PRA changes their apparent lack of transparency and openness, researchers and witnesses should carefully consider the wisdom of cooperating with the PRA. So there you go.
Like so he's saying they might be just like a intelligence thing to just, what is it called when they grab and cover it up? I forgot what that's called.
There's a whole host of reasons it could be. Like I said, maybe they want to keep it all to themselves. Maybe this John Shuttle, the head of the PRA, maybe he's one of those guys where the truth is too dangerous and the public couldn't handle it.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. Yeah, because if they're able to prove things scientifically in this physical evidence, then that kind of proves the case, and it could, just scare a lot of people in the public that, we can't do anything about it.
Or it's like I said, and I don't think it's the case, but it's possible that they found that Kelly was making the whole thing up and trying to avoid embarrassment on their end. They just didn't release their findings.
Well, that would be unfortunate, wouldn't it?
It would be very unfortunate. But yeah,
I did find this clip from Australian TV. If you want to, it's just a few minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Let's listen to it or
Okay.
watch it.
Yeah.
Be between 6 and 8, I would assume.
Okay. They're fairly intense? Or?
Yeah, they're very close together as well.
Right, okay.
4 years ago, Kelly Cahill was a mother and housewife with no interest in spaceships or aliens. Now she's using technology to reconstruct images of her own encounter.
It does give the idea of the lights there, but, the brightness of the light, it gives a good impression, except that the colour doesn't seem right.
Kelly's account starts in August 1993.
My husband and I were driving up to my girlfriend's place in Monbulk, which is in the Dandenong Mountains. We were driving on Belgrave-Hallam Road, and it was just on dusk. I saw what I thought was round orange lights in the field. It looked unusual to me.
Later that night, retracing their route home, Kelly noticed something else unusual.
It's about a kilometre or so in front of us, about twice the height of the treetops. We could see this object, which at first I thought was a blimp. It had the shape of a blimp, but it was light. As we got closer to it, the light seemed to sort of separate, and it was actually these a row of round lights, and they were orange. It appeared like there was silhouettes standing in these round orange circles, like people, but you could only see the black outline. Well, I just said to my husband, look, there's people in there. And the minute I said that, it shot off to the left of us. Within 1 or 2 seconds, it was gone completely. About a kilometre or two further down the road, as we kept driving, I came across what I thought was a screen or a wall of light across the road. And my heart started racing and the adrenaline was sort of pumping through my body, and I'm thinking, we've just seen this back down there. We're in for, a close encounter. Then the next instant, nothing. We seem to have actually covered a fair distance that I don't even remember covering. It might have been possibly close to 1 kilometre, but I don't remember actually travelling. There was no light. There was nothing blocking the road.
Kelly says it wasn't until weeks later she remembered actually getting out of the car that night.
And I saw that there was another car that had pulled up 100 metres down the road. Then I walked around the front of the car to where my husband was standing on the other side, and we started walking across the road together. As we were walking across the road, I looked down and I saw that the other people were getting out the car and starting to walk as well. So I was quite happy that there was other people there who were seeing the same thing that we were. And we walked up along here to where the fence is. Right out in front of us is this huge craft.
I was totally awestruck. It was science fiction coming to life. There wasn't any fear then. It was just all total awe.
We stood here, I guess, side by side, my husband and I, for about 30 to 45 seconds. Then this tall, dark being just appeared in front of the craft, and he was followed by about another 7 or 8 that appeared straight behind him.
I felt this energy go through me. It's like nothing I've ever experienced before in my life. It was like some sort of low-level frequency that came in waves, but it was so dense that I could actually physically feel it going through my body. And that feeling absolutely terrified me. It was like, I can't even explain the horror that I felt just feeling this. And I began screaming. The minute I did, the eyes on these things lit up and they came charging across the field.
Halfway across, they split up into 2 groups. Some headed off down there and the rest came directly towards us. I felt this blow to my stomach, and the next thing you know, I'm back here somewhere on the grass. It literally lifted me off of my feet.
And I thought I was going to die. I thought if I don't get up now, I'm going to pass out and I'm going to die. I'm not going to come back to consciousness, So I pulled myself up into a sitting position, and when I sat up, I couldn't see anything, and it was like there was just black in front of my eyes. I want you to try stretching it down a little bit as well.
Kelly is not the only one who saw these images that night. For the first time ever, independent witnesses have given the same account of a close encounter. Even though Kelly has never met Jane, Glenda and Bill from the other car she has seen the sketches they drew for UFO researchers.
They've drawn the same circles of light around the top of the craft with these blue lines coming down, ending in a semicircle on the ground. They've actually also drawn a tripod underneath, which was something I didn't see that night. It becomes very clear then that we were all looking at the same thing and that it wasn't your average saucer-shaped craft. And basically, the second party were able to draw sketches of the beings very similar to the ones that I had, and they're not your usual little grey things that are, media propaganda. I found a small red-coloured equilateral triangle underneath my navel, which I guess in reality provoked only a minor curiosity at the time. It was oddly geometric, and I did wonder, how something like that could get on me that looked like a burn without me feeling it.
At UFO conferences, where Kelly is now a keynote speaker, she adds strength to her own story by showing photographs of physical marks left on one of the other women.
We were all left with triangular marks under our navels, but the marks that were actually photographed, the first one came from Glenda, which is it's a series of 3 small red dots along the inner thigh, and both Jane and Glenda were marked with these dots. I wasn't. Glenda had a ligature mark around her ankle, which is quite severe bruising. It looked like she'd been strapped down to something.
UFO researchers have also reported finding physical traces of the site where all witnesses said the encounter happened, particularly in relation to where the craft landed.
Inside that semicircle was actually a triangular formation of 3 points spaced 6 metres apart, which correspond with the tripod that was drawn underneath the girl's craft.
To this day, Kelly still doesn't know exactly what happened to her that night.
Tried a little bit.
Her most vivid memory is the fear that she felt.
That's very good. It's finally come out to what I'm looking for. And I think a lot of people, might have experienced the fear in a nightmare where you're being chased or something like that, and it's a terror that you feel that, sometimes can wake you up or whatever, but it's absolutely horrifying when you're dreaming it. And that's exactly what I was feeling while I was totally awake. That sort of terror, actually having to feel it while you're conscious and physically awake and feel it as a reality is like a living nightmare, like a nightmare had come to life.
Total robots.
Yeah, something. Maybe this is a little too X-Files, maybe, but a thought crossed my mind that maybe she accidentally saw military and in weird suits flying experimental craft, right? And they messed with her brain somehow to scramble it to make her think she saw an aliens, something like that. Who knows?
It could be.
Like I said, that's
is there a
pretty out
base?
there.
I mean, I know there's a huge base in Australia that we have, but is it near that area?
I have no idea. But
even
if it wasn't, who's to say there's not another secret base someplace?
It's a secret. U.S. Australia base. The U.S. operates 2 main military bases: Pine Gap, that's what it's called, and the Naval Communications Station, southwest of Alice Springs, Northern Territory. That's the Pine Gap. And the naval one is in Western Australia.
Okay. Well,
definitely a weird case, man.
Definitely a weird case. It's a fun one. I'm glad to see that that my research was fairly accurate for the most part. I should have been paying closer attention right at the beginning of the long clip that we played from that TV interview. She said it was August 8th. So but some of the sources I did read say August 7th. That's why I had them both in there. But from the horse's mouth, not to call her a horse, but from her mouth, she said August 8th. So August 8th is the correct date, and I can update the article a little bit because I am planning on posting this online.
Nice. You should. Yeah. Use Substack or something like that. That's usually a good one. They're great for free speech. They don't take anything down. You'll have good visibility. You can also share it on X as well, but at least it's like a repository, for your articles. But yeah, good idea. Definitely do that.
Yeah.
And cool. You can link the episodes. People can, to that article, like at the end of it or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It was really fun to research. I had never heard of this case before.
Me neither.
So it was fun to dive into and find it. I just really wish the PRA would release what they had, even if it was their finding that nothing weird occurred. If that was truly their finding, I wish they would release it. It's really dumb for them to hold on to all their research like that.
I think if they figured out she was lying or something like that, they would have released it. I don't think they'd be scared for that. The only reason to not release something is national security, or because Australia they don't have free speech like we do, obviously, especially what's going on these days. And they even say it. They say your free speech comes from the government, which is not like our philosophy of free speech that comes from nature, from the creator.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't be surprised they shut it down.
Could have been without the release of what the PRA found, or or us giving an actual reason as to why it couldn't have been released. We'll never know. It's just once again, it's one of those things that unfortunately happens all the time with UFO research. It's just a case number infinity that went nowhere, unfortunately.
Right. I mean, even when you come to like the Virginia, right, we have so many witnesses, all corroborated, high-level officials, people when they were younger, but still, there's no physical evidence, and we were waiting for physical evidence to come out, and the video, or just maybe the video, something needs to come out, and that's what everyone's begging for. But for some reason, when it comes to this subject, concrete evidence is just never surfaces. It's just stories and. Sometimes there are fragments that come out, but people say that we could have made that, or someone within the industry could have made that.
Yeah, I mean that's why there's a lot of focus on the Nazca mummies. It's the interest is starting to fade a little bit. But when the Nazca mummies, they were everywhere for a solid year, I still do see posts about them, but again, it's one of those things like that should be physical evidence, but of course, without proper testing and releasing of all the information, we don't know.
I mean, that Australia TV show did say that there were other witnesses, but I'm surprised they didn't interview them. They made it sound like it wasn't from her who said it. Like they just
again though, it's one of those things that those witnesses were working supposedly, right? We're working with PRA. That's where the drawings and photographs supposedly came from. But when they don't release their findings, it's not proof. It's nothing.
Yeah. It's really frustrating. It really is. So I don't know what to say about this. I'm not going to call her a liar.
I don't think she's lying. I really don't.
Yeah.
People seem to think that if you write a book, you're just
immediately dismissed,
a millionaire overnight, and that's just not the case.
No,
there is not you'll 1 in a billion chance that you'll become rich from doing UFO stuff.
I mean, like Elizondo, people like him, they'll get rich from it.
Yeah, but it's not like he's doing it in a truthful way either.
No, he's not. But he got a bonus signing, and well, cool, man. I guess we can move on to like some updates.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Happened so Jeremy Corbell and Knapp came out. They came out with a new video from the Persian Gulf as usual. 2012.
George Knapp and I have obtained and are revealing for the first time military film footage of multiple UAP anomalies. Officially documented and cataloged within intelligence community investigations as orbs in formation. Official designation of UAP was made by the United States intelligence community and the Department of War. This designation is currently maintained. Let's see. Here's the event description. Filmed by a platform operating under the direction of the U.S. Air Force. Objects were observed and actively tracked. The UAP appears to demonstrate abrupt directional changes and intelligent control. Absence of traditional propulsion or thermal signatures during performance were noted in documentation. Origin, intent, and capabilities remain unknown.
Ooh. 2012. I think it's a triangle, but let's just see. It could be a triangular craft. So this is taken from MQ-9 Reaper, is that what they're called?
I have no idea.
So this is taken from a drone. Looks like it's an infrared. And I guess they do move. But it looks like a triangular craft.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Because there's some kind of field around them.
Yeah. I mean, that could just be artifacts. I mean, it's 2012 camera, as and it's in infrared.
Yeah, looks like they're holding their shape. Oh, that one just looks like it's holding its shape.
Look at that. Yeah, I mean, we talked about the other video. What was it? A couple months back about the one that got hit by the Spitfire missile.
Yes,
and same kind of thing where it looked like it partially exploded, but they all maintained formation. All the parts did maintain formation as they moved. That's what this kind of reminds me of.
Yeah,
but these ones do look like they're mingling a little bit more.
Yeah. But we see that a lot where three orbs come together and form a triangular shape, maybe sharing their fields.
Yeah, very interesting. Video. Yeah, very cool video. Good job, Jeremy Corbell.
Another one, Matt Gaetz was with Jeremy Corbell.
Oh, good.
And he's a former congressman. And he says some weird shit. He's cool, man. I really like him. Too bad we lost. We always lose the good guys, right? They want to kick Massey out. Marjorie Taylor Greene is on the way out. Matt Gaetz is out.
I saw Massey. He tweeted that Israel has been funding attack ads against him nonstop.
Yeah. I'm giving him money. If you guys can, you love people like Massey. He's like the only one left who actually has principles and respects the Constitution, and even votes against Republicans if they're spending too much money or for war. He says it. He's very openly. He openly says it. So we need people like him in Congress. So if you guys can give to Congressman Massey, he's being attacked by Israel firsters, not patriots, because he won't go along with funding Israel. And he's the one who brought the Epstein files out, and they are a disaster.
Yes. We might need to spend some time next week once everything has come out, because I keep
Yeah.
seeing more and more ridiculous things just as
So
the hours
crazy.
tick by.
I know
It's absurd.
disturbing. It is disturbing. It's like a movie.
Yeah.
It really is. All right, so he's Matt Gates talking about ETs and bases.
Seen some patterns emerge that are absolutely a threat to national security, whether this is of human origin or not. Look, we have members of Congress who believe that not only are there extraterrestrials on Earth, but that they have built bases and that they are operating out of bases. I have personally met with people in uniform for the United States military who believe that there are hybrid breeding programs going on right now. Now, I've not seen evidence to suggest that all of those things are accurate, but when those claims arise, I get hot under the collar when we just don't get straight answers. Seen some
Oh
patterns
man, a
emerge.
hybridization program. He says people in
Yeah.
uniform. People in uniform have told him this.
That's scary stuff, man. It really is. But it tracks, and it's no longer that it's no longer weird conspiracy schizo stuff anymore. You know, it's just like with all this stuff coming about Epstein and the rich pedophilic elite, people, you know, like us, conspiracy people, have been screaming about this for a long time, and now everyone's like, "Oh, I can't believe this is going on."
Yeah.
One of the videos
Exactly.
making the rounds on Reddit right now is the Italian, I think she was Italian model, or was she Mexican? I can't remember. But she's outside of a building screaming about how they're eating babies in
Oh
there.
yeah, I have that queued up with some of the Epstein
And
stuff.
like, I think we played that on the show really early on.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's an
Yeah.
old video. And even
Right.
when we played it, it was an old video. And people are just now like, "Oh, I can't believe nobody believed her." And I keep commenting. Of course, it gets people nowhere. It gets nowhere. But I comment like, maybe you didn't listen or pay attention, but we've been talking about this for decades.
Exactly. Yes. And usually your reality just catches up with conspiracy theorists. What is a conspiracy theorist? Someone who just recognizes patterns from a
Yeah.
big picture point of view that most people, don't want to look at or are not ready to look at until it catches up to them.
Right. I mean, God, sorry. We were texting about it the other day or maybe yesterday. I'm still mad about the whole Pizzagate thing and how everyone acted like it was this big
Yeah.
conspiracy theory when it clearly wasn't.
No, it wasn't. People were using FBI documents,
Yeah.
and Department of Justice documents that did and it was a WikiLeaks emails coming out,
Yeah.
right, with Podesta and yeah, exactly. It's not like it wasn't. It was just highly disturbing. But now we're seeing it with these Epstein files coming out. Highly disturbing. No, well, this clip. So this is Catherine Austin Fitz talking about how did they hide this money, or even why did they hide this money? That and what would make this real? This secret real, right? Is secret infrastructure, secret bases, secret money.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what people can't wrap their heads around. It's like, right, so this is all out, and people are talking about bases and a secret program, but how is it function, and how do people don't talk about it? Well, we know that the media is extremely controlled, right?
Right.
And the government is not going to tell you about this, but we can track it with money, and that's what Catherine Austin Fitz tells us.
I should also mention, because we've done 2 big studies at Solari on space and investment in space, because I think one of the command decisions, I think the reason they globalized or made a decision to globalize in the early 90s was they wanted to make a very significant investment in space. And to do that, they needed the engineering capacity of Asia. And so allowing Asia to develop that infrastructure and that engineering capacity was part of an effort, a concerted effort to become a multiplanetary civilization. So if you look at WEF, they're saying, you're preparing
Go to Mars.
for a trip to Mars. So I think that one of their strategic goals was to make a massive investment in space. And part of the financial coup was saying, look, we can honor the boomers' retirement and pay for a lot of nursing homes, or we can just steal that money and spend it on space. And one of the things you see when you study significant investment in space is that to platform that investment on a secret basis and the invisible weaponry on a secret basis, and you needed to build a very significant infrastructure and underground basis. So we have, on one of those weeks where we don't have money in markets, go listen to our interview with Richard basis. One of the smartest researchers we have in our network and I spent 2 years taking every report or rumor of an underground base in the United States, and we collected it and then systematically went state by state through all 50 states. It took us 2 years. And we estimated, and this is just our guess, that there are 172 underground bases just in the United States.
Wow.
And that includes under ocean bases. So it's a very significant secret infrastructure. There's a great scene, I think, in the movie Independence Day, when they take the president down in the into the bunker, and he sees all these scientists in this huge laboratory, and he's like, where did the money come from to do this? I don't know about this. And one of the scientists behind him is actually the dad of the scientist. He said, you don't really think it costs $60,000 to make toilets, do you?
Yep. That's exactly how they do it.
Yeah.
They overcharge the government for a pen or a toilet.
Exactly.
And that money is funneled into black. But that's crazy. So they tracked, there's 172 bases, secret military bases underground that they tracked. So
doesn't surprise me in the slightest. It's Fallout's becoming real life.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Like, that's the enclave, it's
Yeah.
But their lore comes from reality. They know there's a continuity of government. Those are in the open. Those plans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I love the whole enclave and that lore of
Fallout. It's great. Fallout. It's a really good world they've built.
Yeah, it really is very impressive. So this also, the Pentagon refuses to search for Immaculate Constellation emails. This is also from the Black Vault. He put in a request to the Department of War about anything they have about Immaculate Constellation. Of course, that's the one that that Matthew Brown, the whistleblower, came out with. We've played him on the show before. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And so what's crazy about this is that John Greenwald wrote to the NSA and submitted a FOIA. So what they said, sorry, we are invoking national security, and we cannot. What is it? They cannot deny. They
can neither confirm nor deny.
Yes, neither confirm or deny. So that's what they said. And the Department of War said, well, we're not even going to search for it because this is not a real thing. They're not allowed to do that. They can't make that claim that this is not real. They have to honor the request and search for it regardless and give you the results. Not say, oh, it doesn't exist, so we're not searching.
Oh, you mean the government's not following the rules? Color me fucking shocked.
It's really frustrating. So I'm sure he already I'm sure he's going after them, what is it called? An appeal. I'm pretty sure he's appealing the case.
I'm sure it's going to go nowhere, unfortunately.
Yeah, and especially with the way the Department of War is handling things now. They're more secretive than ever. They're kicking out people who, won't just blindly say yes or sign on these new documents that they have, right?
Yeah, it's really sad.
It is. And of course, Hegseth is like this,
Yeah.
We're acting like an empire.
Oh, unbelievable.
Where is it? Yeah, Department of War Special Access Program. Where is it that they said no?
I think I saw it right in the third. Wait a sec. Now where'd it go? Per coordination with the DOW Special Access Program, a component of OSW, a search was not conducted as they confirmed the subject matter itself does not exist, and an extensive email search on the custodian would not yield responsive records.
Yeah. Sure, guys. Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hopefully his appeal goes somewhere. I don't know. I mean,
hopefully, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Pilates. He was on News Nation with Ross Coulthart. It's a great interview about his upcoming documentary with Bigfoot and UFOs.
Cool.
And you'll love this clip. It's really cool that he found this.
The man says that he's standing there and he sees a Native American walking by him with a huge plate of food. He says, "Where are you going with all that raw meat?" And the guy goes, "No, I can't talk." He walks away and goes up to these cliffs. Well, the guy was best friends with the elders. So he goes to the elders and he goes, "Well, if you really want to know," he says, "do you want to see this thing?" And the guy says, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, we're going to go up to these cliffs. It's a big person. It's kind of like you and me, big, but there's hair all over the body. He's very kind. He won't hurt you, but we feed him. So this cattleman goes up to the cliffs and he sees this thing in this cave, giant, hair covered, no language, but they kept feeding him this food and it was very polite. So coming back down the mountain, he asked the elder, where does this thing come from? The Native American says, once or twice a year, a flaming moon comes down out of the sky and lands in the meadow right here. And one or two of the crazy bears, that's what they called these, comes out, walks like you and me, and runs up to the cliffs. And then after that, a man from the inside that kind of looks like you and me waves at us, gets back into the flaming moon, and leaves. And that was in a journal that was on TV in the 1960s. And I include that because there was questions about, well, how did these things get here? And if you think about the language that was used, it fits.
Oh man, I love Pilates' research. He's the one that they actually got the hairs of one of the Bigfoots and had it sent. Remember, and we played it on the show. Yeah. Nick sent me that that clip, and basically that they're half human. You know, they can't understand where the mother comes from. Oh wait, the mother is human, but maybe the father is something like that. One of the parents, they can't tell the DNA, but one of the parents is human. So again, they're using human DNA to make hybrids. That's what it seems. That's what these Bigfoots are.
Nice.
So I've always had this theory that Bigfoots are let out to scare anything, like to protect the aliens or whatever, the NHI or whatever the beings are, that's sent out to scare people and animals from the area, you know. But I love the Native Americans, how they have such a close relationship with Bigfoot, and
That's so cool.
isn't it? Like we feed them raw meat.
Yeah.
So that was a journal entry from the 60s that he found.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, man, I love his documentaries. He's
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check him out.
because he's just so serious, right? He's a serious investigator. He only uses official investigation documents. So yeah, he's a serious guy. That's why I like him. But also, of course, this came up: the Marines in restricted military training.
Yeah, this was interesting. Marines in restricted military training area on Quantico base reports seeing a Bigfoot.
Yeah, this is nuts. Where was this? Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Wait, the Marine. Oh, here it is. 15, 20 minutes. I was a military training base, restricted area for Marines only. It's not open to the public. You can't go there without official permission and escort. Oh, here it is. So the incident occurred in July 2005. He was stationed at Marine Corps Base Quantico for over 3 years. He and 2 other Marines were told to leave at night and make their way through the woods to a vehicle at a pickup location. Of course, they were training.
Yeah.
There was an active training area. They were in an active training area, moving quietly with their flashlights off while students trained with blank ammunition. After the issue with their compasses, he says, we decided to cut a new azimuth to a different reference point and then adjust course toward a different pickup spot further down the road. After roughly 15 to 20 minutes, they heard a loud sound like a tree cracking. Fearing it could be a falling tree, they turned on their flashlights and looked in the direction of the sounds. The creature was manipulating trees like they were nothing. We observed 2 trees next to each other bending towards one another.
Oh, wow.
When we looked up approximately 20 to 30 feet above the ground, we saw a large, hairy creature with its back facing us, he explained.
The creature appeared to be pulling the 2 trees together. The hair was brown or reddish brown color. I could not determine whether it had climbed the tree or was already in it, but it was clearly manipulating both trees with great strength. These are not small trees. The creature was more than 8 feet tall with a large body and movements that did not resemble that of a person. The 3, after initially freezing, took off running. Yeah, I would too.
That's so funny. He's a
As we
Marine.
ran, we heard a very heavy thud and then fast-moving pursuit behind us. There were
Whoa.
loud crashing and breaking sounds like something large moving rapidly through dense brush. This continued for approximately 20 to 30 seconds. Yeah, it chased him off.
Dude, that is so funny. At that point, I yelled for the Marine in front to turn on his lights so we could move as fast as possible without falling. We turned our lights on and ran at full speed in the general direction of where we believed the road and pickup point were, no longer using our compasses. They reached the vehicle after about 5 minutes or so of running, jumped in and told the driver to get them out of there. They're not sure what they saw, but knew for sure it was not a black bear or any known animal in the area. Black bears in Quantico are relatively small.
Yeah, black bears in general are small, and also they're they're not aggressive towards humans. They're scared of humans. They might bluff charge, but they don't typically attack humans.
Right, and I don't think they pull 30-foot trees together.
No, I don't think so either.
Once again, we're unfortunately left with without an image or other evidence of what they encountered that summer night more than 20 years ago. Crazy.
It is crazy. Fun stuff, though. I mean,
yeah,
scary though. Yeah, definitely. For some reason, yeah, I think I'd be more scared of seeing Bigfoot than I would an alien. I guess it really depends on context, you know.
Yeah. Well, because Bigfoots can be, seen as wild and and
like 9 times out of 10, the alien just kind of wants some of my eggs, right? But Bigfoot, you don't really know.
No, he wants to eat you, probably.
Yeah.
And this is a cool theory where UFO whistleblower claims cattle mutilations are used to harvest alien biodrones. What does he mean by alien biodrones, though?
Yeah, that's I think so. When we talk about things like orbs, I mean, who knows? Are orbs technology, or are they alien life that we just can't even fathom as human beings?
Or even the Greys themselves, right? They
right. Or even the Greys themselves, exactly.
Yeah. Many people say that they are biological robots. So, now the reason why is they also use Jacques Vallée. He says, Jacques Vallée, a leading researcher, described them as artificial biological robots designed to withstand our gravity, breathe our air, and look human-like enough to interact with us or learn about us.
Fun.
So, I mean, does that go back to the whole AI entity thing? Where it's trying to communicate with us. It uses the genetic information that's on the planet with species that have already evolved to be okay with the gravity here, with the air here, and so out of that create beings that can interact with us or interact with the planet in an efficient manner.
Interesting.
So, yeah, Bill Powers.
Did they say why they came to that conclusion?
Bill Powers, a contemporary of Vallée, even half joked in the 60s that these beings might be quote unquote noticing machines.
Well, they're not noticing enough.
No, they're not. Implying their primary purpose could be observation and data gathering rather than independent action. Such explanations offer a new lens to understand UFO reports that traditionally focus on extraterrestrial or origin alone, suggesting a dual-layered system where the visible craft and creatures may be tools of a larger intelligence. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, we've been saying that forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's like us trying to, and we'll say it again, the analogy of us trying to communicate with ants. Why not create a robot ant to go in and interact with them, right? You could have the same chemicals and whatever, but you're in there at their level, in their community. And yeah, I mean, you could even nudge them to a certain point if you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or I mean, you and at that, going back to the ant thing, you create a robot ant that actually does, things like ants do, and then it's a little bit, more likely to infiltrate the ant colony.
Yeah, even I mean, they have queen ants, right? Yeah, they have the queen ants. So you could actually have maybe a queen ant. Maybe they'll find out. But I mean, you could do that and just coerce the entire community. To
why not?
Whatever you want to do. That goes to like David Icke and his thing of reptilian beings and that the elite work with these NHIs and that control the world. So
Yeah.
it's along that narrative.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, cool article, cool theory.
Very cool. I really hope we get to the bottom of some of this and get some answers. But like I said last week, I doubt it. I think it's one of those things that as humans we're not allowed to know or understand. But that's just a feeling I get.
Yes, because it kind of distracts people from daily life, or maybe not believe in the day-to-day civilization we have. Go to work, pay your taxes, raise a family, and I think it's very important to have a narrative or story that civilization agrees on, because once that starts falling apart, then chaos ensues. And that might be the issue, is that there's just too much going on. It is an open universe. There's a lot of different factions. A lot of them can do whatever they want.
As we're seeing more and more, there's a real big group of people on this planet that can just do whatever they want.
Whatever they want. Yeah, and it's not crazy to think that it's not linked to this subject. I thought this was cool.
Yeah, let's see. MIT physicists observed the first evidence that quarks create a wake as they speed through quark gluon plasma, confirming the plasma behaves like a liquid.
And there's an image of it. And
so what? I actually don't understand any
so
of that.
Quarks are the really tiny particles, right? It's like you have the nucleus, you have the electrons, but then you have quarks going around. So they were able to take an image of a quark going through plasma, and it's leaving a wake like it's liquid. So basically, they're saying you can apply fluid dynamics to plasma, and that. Yeah, but plasma is everywhere, right? I mean, well, according to the electric universe, like 90% of the universe is plasma, and we are plasma beings. But they always leave that out of the equation with our cosmology and physics. They try to focus more on gravity than plasma.
Right.
What's crazy about this is that in the scripture and many scriptures, that God separated the waters, right? He says that there's earth. You have the waters here, but then space also is a water, but that's plasma. So that's crazy then that it does act like a fluid, plasma.
Yeah.
So it's like separating the waters from the waters. Yeah. So again, our ancestors, their intuition was correct. And then our science always catches up with it. Kind of like conspiracy theorists, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, we have a couple Epstein things, and then we can play that one clip you sent me of that lady.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Trump has been compromised by Israel, and Kushner is the real brains behind his presidency. An unclassified confidential human source report alleges that the Trump presidency was co-opted by Israeli influence networks, with Jared Kushner functioning as the central power broker during Trump's first term. Me personally would argue that
and second term,
every single president's term since 1950, I would say.
Well, it's 63, I would say.
63.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A CHS report comes from an FBI validated informant, giving it a higher credibility threshold than standard intelligence claims. The document references alleged financial, political, and organizational influence channels and explicitly states that Trump was compromised, with Kushner described as the real operational center of the administration. Wow, it's like what we've been telling you all along is true.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these accounts are feeling very vindicated with these Epstein files coming out.
Yeah.
And
as they should.
Yeah, and it wasn't Russiagate; it was Israelgate, and that's why nothing came out of it. Because when they did search into Trump and Russiagate or Russian whatever, they found Israel, and they just let it go, and that's why nothing came out of that.
Yep, I'm glad to see it's another week and another opportunity for our podcast to get canceled.
Well, us and many others.
Oh,
well,
sure.
I like we just bury it at the end of our podcast, so that's why. It
yeah, we don't make it the whole what the podcast is only about.
This is disturbing too. So in the And the leaks as well, as they found Goyim and how this is Epstein and his friends and his network of friends talk about the rest of us. You know, Goyim is how they refer to non-Jews, and it's a negative term.
It is. No matter what they say, it is. They always use
It
it,
is.
and as we'll see in the video coming up, they
Yeah.
do use it in a very negative way towards people who are not in their club.
Right, with their DNA.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein's bank account was called Baal, the ancient Canaanite deity which people would sacrifice their children to. A victim's diary shows that she was impregnated multiple times and forced to give birth for Ghislaine and Epstein. Israel is mentioned twice as much as Donald Trump in the new documents. Here he is discussing with Roger Schank, a Jewish American academic and hedge fund worker, saying Jews create vast fortunes by manipulating markets and creating financial speculation and exploiting labor. He says, let the Goyim deal in the real world. In a discussion with the Rothschild family, Epstein says if they overthrew the Ukrainian government, there would be great opportunities. The Rothschild family paid Epstein $25 million for certain algorithms. While talking to Peggy Seigel, August 7th of 2010, she asks if an event is going to be 100% Jewish. He says, no, they'll have Goyim in abundance. But don't worry, they're just brilliant wasps from JP Morgan. Joshua Finkelstein, BlackRock's Larry Finkelstein's son, is accused of not having any respect for non-Jews, seeing them as not human. This is from his ex-girlfriend, Svetlana. He pressures her to have an abortion. In 2017, Epstein has a conversation talking about if you want to hire the best people, you have to hire only Jews. Only hire those who can prove they are genetically Jewish. Maria Farmer, one of the first victims to come out and name Epstein.
I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's.
Said that their operation was motivated by Jewish supremacy.
Oh my God. Surprise, surprise, everyone.
Yeah, weird, right?
Surprise, surprise. Now, you did send me another one, which was really disturbing about, oh crap, where is it? The one that had the baby part. I don't know. I don't want to read it. We'll probably get canceled for it. But has really disturbing stuff that basically proves what this lady's saying.
Yep. It was it's really messed up. Really, really messed up stuff. Go ahead, guys and gals listening. Go. You've probably, if you're in the conspiracy field like we are, you've probably seen and heard all of the stuff been going on. But if you haven't, pour yourself a strong drink and before you read those, because it's disturbing to read.
Pizzagate is real.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. All right. So this is in 2019. She came out. What was she? She was this is 21-year-old Gabriela Rico Jimenez made statements alleging extreme abuse connected to Jeffrey Epstein newly released Epstein-related documents. All right. So let's just play this.
¡Asquerosidad! ¡Comieron humanos! Yo no estaba enterada de nada. Que había, o sea, los asesinatos sí, pero que habían comido humanos. ¡Humanos! ¡Fuera la carne humana!
Oh God! All right. So she was saying in Spanish there that they eat humans.
Yeah. And what's even more disturbing about this, she was found dead not long after this, supposed suicide. So we know what that means, everyone.
Right, exactly. It's like Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of anything, she says. I mean, about the murders, yes, but that they had eaten humans.
Ugh.
Humans. And not just that, it was baby humans. I mean, with that one leak that came out.
Yeah, it is just disturbing what these people were doing. Even if not all of it is true, there's enough of it there where it's like, you know, it is just pure unadulterated evil. It's disgusting.
Yeah, here's the one. Some of the newest Epstein files tells of girls disappearing and ending up as fertilizer for the golf fields.
Yeah.
That was another leak that came out that if you guys don't shut up, we're going to kill you and use you as fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is in there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they're all in there.
They're all in there. One of the funnier ones and it's not funny at all. But and I keep seeing people post that it's fake, and I don't think it is Elon Musk trying to get an invite to the party. And
oh yeah, did you? Oh, here it is. You sent me that. This one.
Yeah, I sent you a couple. But he sent an email to Epstein and said, hey, looking to party this weekend, yada yada yada. And Epstein just forwarded it to Ghislaine and said, take care of this. And she said, oh, we're not really doing those parties anymore, but we'll let you know if we change our minds.
That's hilarious. So he tried to get into the parties and didn't want him in there.
So yes, so supposedly it's fake. But again, the way that Reddit gets astroturfed by companies left and right, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Elon Musk paying someone to say, oh, it's fake, oh, it's fake, oh, it's fake.
Yeah, I'm sure. Was this MF Elon tried to invite himself to Epstein Island, and guess what? Epstein turned this piece of cheese nut down and I can't stop my laughing.
Yeah.
Man, maybe we should just get all the documents that are out there and do a complete show on all of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. I was going to say next week probably is our best bet. I think by that time everything will have been released or found in the released files, I should say.
Maybe we'll do it with Nick and Sid, because I know they wanted to do a show today, but we had this deep dive scheduled.
And I had no idea how long that was going to last. I had it written out, and it was, with the thing, it was 10 pages, and I had no idea in terms of timing how long that would last. But it looked like it was about an hour and a half, so I could have actually gone more, which is interesting. I just filmed this like an hour before we started recording.
Yeah,
I sent you 2 videos. I was walking the dog, and I heard some loud popping, like fireworks, and I looked up and I saw this.
Whoa, man!
And it was
that's
huge.
Gotta be a kite or something. Is it really a UFO? That's nuts.
I don't know. It was very big. I sent it to my brother again. For those of you unaware, my brother has lived here has lived here a long time, and he is doubting because I said I think it's a balloon, just because I heard the pops like it was fireworks, and then I saw this thing, and you can't really tell from the video because of course I'm filming with my phone, but the pattern was very seeable with the naked eye, and it looked like the pattern that one might put on the outside of a balloon. I don't know. Do you have the other video too? Because that one I thought was cool. It's sitting still but going up and turning towards me.
I'm trying to zoom in on this one. I'm zoomed in the most I can right now.
Yeah.
What's the stuff here though in the middle?
That's what I'm talking about. That's the stuff I said. It was printed on what looked like was printed on the side. That's why I assumed it was a balloon.
Yeah.
But
let's get the other video.
But yeah, I don't know. Very, very interesting. But yeah, I'm seeing these all the time now. It's great.
Yeah, that is crazy, dude. Can you find out if people are launching stuff in a way?
Yeah, I mean, I can ask my brother to ask around. Of course, I don't really know anyone from here like he does. But yeah, it was just
there's a thing around it. I mean, it could be a camera artifact, but still,
I think that's a camera artifact. But it was sitting there like this, and it's
turning
not
around.
I don't think it's definitely spinning around. It's not moving back and forth. That's me and my shaky hand trying, because I'm walking the dog at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then
that's right on top of you.
Yeah, like I said, it seemed like it was following me. It was wild, but it went straight up into the clouds not long after I stopped filming.
You're kidding. I wish you got that.
Yeah, I wish because I was like, okay, I've got footage of it, but it's not doing anything, just kind of sitting there turning. But I could have sworn it was looking at me. But anyway,
right.
yeah.
I mean, if this is real, and you're getting close to getting onto the craft, dude.
You know what's so funny? I was sitting there filming, and I kept thinking about that. Like, are they going to pick me up? And then I was like, this is such an inconvenient time. If they wanted to come,
it's always an inconvenient time.
I was like, I've got the dog, and I'm supposed to record an episode. They can't abduct me now.
That's what I say every time. Like, wait a minute, not now.
Like, when
it feels imminent. Yeah. That's.
But funny. Yeah, I mean, in my heart of hearts, I do think it's a balloon. I think, but that being said, that's a really weird explanation, because what the hell,
See, I'm with you, because I'm off record. When we weren't on the show, I was telling you what happened to me yesterday, where I experienced something, and I still am like, it has to be a star. It just has to be, right? Because I've come to the like it can't be that it was just a craft. So, but I was telling you, it was 11:30 a.m. Bright sky here in Southern California. Bright. I'm talking about bright. But I was in an area of the balcony where the sun is blocked, and I could look at the sky, and I did see like what looked like a star. Like, say it was dark, and you see a star far away. You know, they shimmer, and yeah, that's exactly what I saw. And it was really hard for me. If I looked away, I wouldn't find it again. Although I did a few times where I'd look away, and then I'm like, okay, there it is again. And I didn't want to look away. And because of that shimmering, it felt like it was like a message. But then, you know, I'm like, it's got to be a star. It just has to be. It didn't move. It acted like a star. Could have been something in orbit doing that. Maybe. I don't know why I don't want to go that way, though, for the first time.
Yeah.
I just wanted to dismiss it as a star.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's just, it's our nature. You know, we want to find explanations for all the weird stuff we see, right?
Yeah. Especially that I was in that state of mind where I was asking, and I said, I'm not going to record it with my phone. Oh, because the night before I did see something and I recorded it. Man, it's so frustrating. I zoomed in on it, like really zoomed in and carefully. But when I played it back, the object was below the screen, but not when I was recording it.
That's crazy.
But I blame myself because I think I did say I wouldn't record, and I recorded.
Yeah, and my camera work here wasn't great because I was doing this because I was like, I want to look at it with my eyes, but I wanted to like make sure I caught it on film too. But also I was looking at it with my eyes, and so I kept losing it with the camera. But it was a decent footage. Dude,
this is still cool. We would if we saw this on social media, would share it for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those. It's not clear cut because it changes shape, but so weird, dude.
It was very weird, but just
I'm in denial, to tell you the truth.
The odd part was just the popping noises like fireworks, and then looking over in the first video, you can see it looks like it's trailing smoke.
Yeah, what is that about?
It doesn't make, and that's why I keep getting stuck on it, because I kept thinking, okay, that's a balloon, but what the hell kind of balloon trails smoke and lights off fireworks?
So you heard popping, you looked behind you, and this thing was there.
Yeah, I looked up and I watched it float upwards like it's doing in this video, and then the second video, I like walked a little bit further. And I turned around and it was like more like directly above me, and it kept just rotating and pointing different directions. And I was going like, what the hell?
This is it's the same object as before, right?
It is same object. Yep.
Man, you guys have to ask around.
Yeah, I will.
Seriously, get to the bottom of this thing. So weird, very cool. And you know, if this thing is real, just keep it up. You'll be on that craft soon.
Yep, that's what I'm planning on.
Yeah, I thought maybe you got, when I saw that yesterday, I'm like, oh, Topher told him to come pick me up.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Oh man. How goofy would that be if you just hear a knock on your window at night and I'm hanging out the side of a UFO like, come on, dude.
Yes, you did it. It's gonna happen. I believe in it.
I sure hope so. That'd be one hell of a fun story. As long as they let us come home after. It'd kind of suck if they whisked us off away to Zeta Reticuli and we never got to come back home.
I'm going to share these on Twitter. Is that cool?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Yeah,
nice.
let's see if we get any responses. Maybe someone can definitively say what it is.
Yeah, and if other people from Colombia have also, which I'm sure they did, this is right there. It's high. I mean, it's not that high up.
I was the first thing I did when I got back to the apartment is I started looking online to see if anyone had posted recently. But I mean, it had only been a couple minutes, so of course no one had yet. But I'm going to keep looking.
All right, cool, very cool, man. Keep it up, and I would say on behalf of the audience that we wish you the best of luck in getting onto one of the crafts and interacting with the guy, and reporting back to us, of course.
Yeah, I'm hoping by this time next year we can start recording some of our podcasts from the UFOs.
Yes.
Coming to you live from Mars, the Uncovering Anomalies podcast.
Dude,
I believe that is it, Adam.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Good show.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It sounds like we're going to be doing Epstein stuff next week.
I think we should.
And we'll talk to Nick and Sid. It'd be great. The four of us go through and make fun of these pedophilic losers.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, let's
doing
propose
wrong.
it to them. And let's try to do our own searches. I think that it's
Yeah.
open in the Department of Justice. So if we can find anything about UFOs or breakthrough energy or anything like that, let's bring it to the show. And obviously the nasty, disgusting, evil shit that they do, just to
Yeah.
prove a point that, people like us who have been warning people or warning society about the evil ruling class, we're telling the truth.
We can finally stand up and say, we were right.
Yeah.
We were right.
That's what we'll call the show next week. We were right.
We were right. That's not a bad idea. Do you want to go over social media stuff really quick?
Yeah. So we are on X at UAP the podcast for the podcast. I'm on there at Breakaway Civil, and Topher is there at Topher at all. Follow both of us. Follow also the podcast. Hit us up. Let us know how we're doing. And share our shows. Please like the show if you like it. That is, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment, even if it's just like love the show, great show, or if it's like you guys suck, you need to do up your game or whatever it is. Just let us know how we're doing.
We really do appreciate feedback, and the last couple weeks we're trying something a little bit more focused.
Yeah.
And if you like that, let us know. If you don't, or you want us to go back to just pulling up random stuff from the week, we'll happily switch back to that.
Yeah, we love the UFO UAP news updates and just reacting to them. And we do return to that. I would say once or twice a month, because when so much is going on, we just need to go over it and bring you guys up to speed. And if you're listening to us on any of the platforms, you already found us, but we are on the, I would say, first speech platforms like Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. So if you ever noticed any episodes have skipped, that means it was probably taken down by Spotify or YouTube, but you'll find them on other platforms. So make sure to follow us over there. And one more thing, spread the show if you think it is worth people's times. I think we bring value, right?
I sure hope so.
We do deep dives. We also do UAP updates. So, many people have very busy lives, very busy family lives. You don't have the time to stay up to date, but we can do it for you every week in an hour or two episode, bring you up to speed.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for listening to episode 152 of the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. Today's topic was, of course, Kelly Cahill or Cahill. However it's pronounced in Australian. And keep your eyes on the skies, and we will see you all next week.
All right. Yes, we will next week.
Message in the static, a shadow in the dark, a light against the stars, a podcast from afar. It's Adam and Topher, we come in peace. Our hunt for the truth will never cease. It's the Uncovering Anomalies podcast, where the truth is told until the last. Listen to our words and hear our voices. We can't save you, but present your choices. A message in the static, a shadow in the dark, a light against the stars, a podcast from afar. It's Adam and Topher, we come in peace. Our hunt for the truth will never cease. It's the Uncovering Anomalies podcast, where the truth is told until the last. Listen to our words and hear our voices. We can't save you, but present your choices. We can't save you, but present your choices. We can't save your choices. We can't save you, present your choices. Present your choices. We can't save you. Present your choices. choices.